Welcome to r/TrueOffMyChest, where this man's fiancée leaves him on the day he was going to propose for absolutely no reason. My girlfriend left me on the day I was proposing without any explanation. Elise and I had been together for 3 years and living together for 1.5 years. Our relationship was very strong and we were madly in love. All of our friends always used to say that we were a perfect couple. Our communication was strong and we had everything planned in our lives. I told her that I won't be marrying her before I get a job that pays well enough to build our family, and she agreed. Well, I got a very good job 2 months ago and we started planning our lives together. Our plan was to get married in the next year or two, buy a house, and then have kids when we have more financial stability. She also started dropping hints that I should propose. I was already planning to, so I started researching for rings, proposal venues, etc. This is when I contacted Leia, one of Elise's best friends, and asked her to meet me and keep it a secret. I told her my plans and she confirmed that Elise would love this and also gave me some suggestions which I loved. Leia also included David, another one of Elise's very good friends, as the three of them were best friends since childhood and knew each other very well. They also helped me pick the ring. The plan was to rent a cabin surrounded by nature and wilderness, as Elise likes that a lot. I rented the cabin, and on Friday I took the day off without telling my girlfriend and met up with Leia and David and one of my friends to set up everything. I gave instructions to my friend about how I wanted everything to be set up, as he was supposed to go there the next day before us and set up everything. Flowers, cameras, etc. I went back home after that and ordered Elise's favourite takeout. We talked about her day and then went to bed. Now, a week ago, Leia had invited Elise for brunch on Saturday, the proposal day, at a new fancy place, the proposal location. She emphasised that the place was fancy so that Elise wouldn't get suspicious of Leia asking her to wear a nice dress. On Saturday morning, Leia and David came to our apartment to pick up Elise. As soon as they left, I called a friend of mine who was waiting just around the corner, and I left soon after. Then I called my other friend who was supposed to be at the cabin, and I asked him how everything was going. He assured me that everything was set up exactly how I wanted it. I'd also asked David to share their location and to drive slowly or take a longer route so that I can get there 10 to 15 minutes before them. I realised that David hadn't shared the location, but it was fine. We got there and I just ran in to change into a suit. Then I went to the exact position and checked the camera angles. Everything was perfect. Then I waited for my girlfriend and her friends to arrive. The drive is 30 to 40 minutes from our apartment, and they should have been there. I thought they went slightly overboard with stalling. I waited there for another 20 minutes. It had already been more than an hour since they left the apartment, and I was getting worried. So I asked one of my friends to call David and sneakily ask how long it would take them. They called him 2 to 3 times, but no answer. Then they called Leia 2 to 3 times. No answer. I assumed the worst. I called David and Leia as well. Still no answer. Finally, I decided to call Elise. First call, she didn't answer. My heart was racing at this point. As soon as I called her again, Leia answered instead. I was panicking and asked her if everything was alright and why is nobody answering the phone? She went silent for 2 seconds and then started yelling at me. She told me to never call Elise ever again and that I was dead to her, that I was a horrible human being for doing that to her, that she doesn't want to see my face or talk to me ever again. I was confused, but before I could say anything, she hung up. I was so confused and started crying and my friends had to console me. Soon after that, I got a text from Leia that she'll be coming over later with David to get Elise's stuff and that Elise doesn't even want to step into the apartment even if I'm not there. I immediately called her parents to ask what was going on. They knew about the proposal and we were supposed to go to their home for lunch afterwards. They had no clue what was going on and told me that they'll call her and ask. I got a call from them 10 minutes later saying that they called Elise and she told them that she can't talk right now and she'll call them later. They were also confused about all of this. I was devastated and I didn't know what to do. My friends took me back to my apartment and we hung out. David and Leia came over in the evening to take Elise's stuff. My friends and I tried to talk to them, but they didn't say anything. They just asked me where Elise's stuff was and just took some of it and said they'll be back for the rest. They also reiterated that if I tried contacting Elise again, I'll be reported for harassment. At that moment, I just wanted to cry because just the thought of me harassing my girlfriend was overwhelming. After they left, my friends told me that they think I shouldn't be alone right now and they will stay in the night and won't take no for an answer. We stayed up and talked till 4 a.m. last night and then everyone went to bed. I wasn't able to sleep and I've been just thinking about every potential reason for Elise's behavior, but I don't have any answers. The only scenario I can think of is that Elise was cheating on me and somehow realized that I was going to propose, and she freaked out and told her friends that she can't do this because I cheated on her. This still doesn't make sense, but it is the closest thing to an explanation that I have right now. I know it's a horrible thing to think about. Today was supposed to be the first day of our engaged life together. Hopefully, I'll be able to get some answers from her parents if they talk to her. Wow, what a story. I mean, first of all, guys, I'll pass this over to you. Get in the comments, what do you think is going on here? Personally, I think there could be so many things that are occurring here, but the thing that sticks out to me is that, yeah, it's very, very suspicious. It's very, very dodgy. From everything that I'm seeing that OP is saying here, I think he is completely innocent and genuinely has no idea what's going on, which leads me to believe that, yeah, I think that Elise is hiding something. Now, there is a chance that Leia and David have kind of colluded and working together and they secretly hate you and they don't want Elise to marry you, but I don't think that's very likely, to be honest. I feel like you've probably known them for a long time and they wouldn't just switch up like this, and they also wouldn't have been super keen for helping with the planning beforehand. So I reckon that, yeah, Elise is hiding something. OP, I think sadly, you may well be right, and she's then told Leia and David a fake story to get them on side. It's terrible, but I think that's the only thing that could possibly be happening here. I just don't feel like David and Leia would do this sort of thing at this moment in time. It seems too sudden. Again, maybe I'm wrong, and I hope that I'm wrong, and that they're the ones that are telling Elise to call it off with you rather than Elise telling them a fake story because she's hiding something. But yeah, I just don't see it. I've got to be honest. From your perspective though, OP, what do you do now? I mean, the thing is with this story, it's so recent. It's just been posted like a day after this all took place, as you can tell. I would say, first of all, do not let Leia and David take any more of Elise's stuff. Say to them, you know, it's not yours. If she wants it, she can come and get it herself, or her parents can come and get it because they have no right to take it. First of all, do that. Second of all, you need to find a way to contact her and get in contact and meet with her face to face, and then you'll be able to work out what's going on. But there we go. I mean, what starts this episode? Guys, comment down below. What do you think is going on here? Now for our next True Off My Chest post. If you're into marriages and relationships, guys, this whole episode is definitely for you. I'm getting married in 2 weeks and I am totally screwed. I literally need to get this off my chest. I feel like I'm going insane. My fiance, Sarah, and me have known each other for about 6 years. We've been engaged for 1. Our wedding is scheduled to take place in just 2 weeks, and I just witnessed something that is making me feel like I'm making the biggest mistake of my life. Tonight, Sarah and I were taking a rare opportunity to relax at home. Sarah was in the kitchen making dinner while I was out back working on one of my projects. We live on acreage and I'm building a pagoda/fire pit in the backyard that we were planning on using this fall. Anyway, as you do when you're doing heavy labor, I got thirsty and I come back to the house to get a drink, where I see Sarah at the counter preparing dinner and talking on speakerphone. I recognize the voice instantly as my brother-in-law, Marty. Now, this is where my brain gets totally twisted. Marty asks Sarah where her sister Evelyn is, as he's been trying to get in contact with her and she's not answering texts. And I hear Sarah say to him, "She just left here. She should be home in a half hour or so." It should be noted that Evelyn is Marty's wife of 5 years. I have to admit that I didn't immediately register what she had just said, because I went into the kitchen and grabbed a glass and asked Sarah, what was all that about? And she responds with, "Marty was looking for Evie." I see her texting and I ask her, "What are you doing?" And she says, "I'm texting Evie that Marty was looking for her." Anyway, I pour myself a drink, sit down, have a sip, and then finally my brain starts to work. First off, I heard Sarah tell Marty that Evelyn was here. Evelyn was not here, and the last time we saw her was yesterday when she came over to work on some last-minute wedding decoration stuff with Sarah. Secondly, why is she texting Evelyn and expecting a response when I distinctly heard Marty that Evelyn wasn't answering her texts? And lastly, Why the heck would she tell Marty that Evelyn should be back in 30 minutes unless she either knows where she is, then why does she lie, or she is, right now in front of me, texting her to tell her to get her butt home quickly? The only conclusion that I came up with is that Sarah is lying to Marty about the whereabouts of her sister, Marty's wife, and is probably warning Evie that Marty will expect her home in half an hour. I then spent probably the next 5 hours concocting various explanations for this behaviour, some decent, some downright horrible, and playing them back in my head. I wanted really badly to ask Sarah about this, but at the same time, if what I think is going on, then I doubted I'd get a straight answer. I've got to interject here. I would have to ask right there and then. I'd have to ask Sarah, first of all, see what she says, and second of all, gauge her emotions and her reaction when she says what she's saying, trying to work out if there is a legitimate reason here, or if she may be covering up for Evelyn. So that brings me to about an hour ago. I woke up at around 1 a.m. to use the toilet, and I couldn't resist the urge to check Sarah's phone. We both know each other's pins, so this wasn't a difficult thing to do. Anyway, I grabbed the phone, retreated to the bathroom, and unlocked it, and yep, it was exactly what I was afraid of, and probably what most of you were expecting. Sarah's sister Evelyn has been having an affair for about 6 months with a co-worker, and Sarah has been helping Evelyn cover it up for almost that entire time. There are literally hundreds of texts between them discussing it, discussing the co-worker, discussing sex stuff, really embarrassing things about my brother-in-law, and probably uncharitable, just stuff that makes my stomach churn. And here is my soon-to-be wife going along with all of it without batting an eye. She's doing this to her own brother. Wow. I took some screenshots of the entire thread, put the phone back where I found it, and then retreated to my home office to find myself here typing it all out on Reddit, simply so I can avoid the primal scream that wants to come out of my mouth right now. I am totally 100% screwed, Reddit. I cannot marry Sarah. I just cannot do it. I can't think of any reasonable excuse that she could offer me about assisting her sister in this affair and victimizing not only Marty, but their 2-year-old daughter as well. Oh my gosh, it gets worse. On the other hand, myself, my family, Sarah and her family have all sunk an enormous amount of money into a wedding that is supposed to happen in around 2 weeks. There's no way we're getting any of that money back. On top of that, I feel like an absolute fool. Like, how did I not know this woman was like this? And what the heck am I gonna do? I can't marry her. I absolutely cannot. However, I still want to. She's beautiful and fun and kind, and I thought we had a bright future ahead of us. She's never done anything wrong to me, but I just can't see her the same now. It's like a big black stain on an otherwise beautiful picture. I just don't know how the frick I got this so wrong, and I'm absolutely dreading doing what I know I need to do. I feel like I want to vomit or break something. Well, there we go. I thought the first story was pretty bad, but this one is maybe even worse. I mean, come on. At least if you're proposing to someone or planning on proposing to somebody, the only real outlay is going to be, yeah, perhaps a venue, but most importantly, the ring, right, in terms of an expense. With a wedding, though, that is tens of thousands of pounds, probably tens of thousands of dollars, and a whole host of people that have been invited. And yeah, goodness me. I guess the only good thing is, now that, you know, this whole thing has come out with Evelyn cheating on Marty, it's going to take some of the spotlight away from your cancelled wedding, at least. I mean, it's not really much of a consolation, but perhaps it's true. Opie has actually said in an edit down below that he doesn't need convincing, by the way. Like, he's not after the people of Reddit or us to try and convince him not to marry his fiance. He's already confirmed that he's just not doing that. But I mean, yeah, from his perspective, just what a terrible thing to do. Again, I have to agree with him. If somebody is capable of doing that, first of all, covering up cheating of any sort is just awful if you know about it. But doing that to your own brother, then yeah, clearly they're just an untrustworthy person. I'm sorry they are, despite the fact that you feel like you know her extremely well, obviously. But then secondly, you have no idea what they might do in the future and what they could possibly do to you. If they're capable of that, they're capable of doing something just as bad to you. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/TrueOffMyChest. I really need to go on this subreddit more. Get in the comments down below if you agree with me and you want to see more content from this subreddit. Those two stories were just fantastic. Yeah, they're both very sad, but as posts, they were excellent. Get your comments in as well on what you think is going on in both these stories. I mean, the first one especially. The second one, what is the next step for everybody involved? I mean, how bad is that? But yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts as always. And in general, do you want to see more of True Off My Chest?